Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Haracha Kodash. And double honors unto the apostles and elders of James Great Millstone. And a sincere shalom to Yakin bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Hey, I'm playing this video by this Edomite dude here. Hey, but he's on point with what he says. Everything he says is on point except, the last sentence. But I want to play it so that you could hear it. The captions are also going to be on the screen as well. So, right? So he is basically defining what the word Babylon means, man. Right? At first he says what? He said women's rights, but we can't define what a woman is. Also, men can be women, right? So here it is. It's just a bunch of hypocritical statements that are fighting one another, so to speak, man. Yeah, you want to defend women and protect women, but now you're allowing a biological man to say he's a woman. And in turn, that does what? Well, when you take a look at that particular case, you have grown-ass men, who are entering into women's bathrooms and are infringing upon the rights of women because he is allowing it, right? So these people in this place, they're sick, man, right? They're completely sick. Their mind is just gone to the point where they can't differentiate between righteousness and wickedness, right? And they're upholding wickedness as righteousness. And that's why the scripture says this in the book of Job. It's Job 10. It's Job 10 and 21, and it reads, it says, "Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death." Right? And matter of fact, the shadow of death, we go into the book of 23rd Psalms. This is verse 4. It says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." Hey, this is here, man. Babylon the Great. Because at every avenue, is a place to ultimately engulf you in wickedness, man. It says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." And that's speaking for the elect. Hey, Yahweh Shema Shai is with the elect, man. The only men, 144,000, and women that believe, the 1/3, that aren't naked in this world, man. Right? And naked means to be without covering, right? And without the covering of who? Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, "I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." So when we go back into the book of Job 10, verse 21, and and it reads, "Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death." A land of darkness, as darkness itself, and the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is its darkness. Right? When you read that in the NLT, it says, "It is a land as dark as midnight." A land of what? Gloom and confusion. Right? Which is the word what? Babal. Which is what? Babylon, man. This place is full of confusion. Everything he's saying, right, is full of confusion. Right? A person in their right mind would hear this message and be like, it's impossible for these two things to be correct at once. Because this is how he orchestrated, man. This is what happens when your leader is wicked. He allows all types of lawlessness to thrive in the society, man. Right here it is. It says, a man can become a woman. A man can become a woman and no uterus, no opinion, but also men can get pregnant, right? So said a man can become a woman, but if you don't have no uterus, you're not considered a woman. Just like it's a video, on social media of I believe she was some sort of doctor, and we understand that word doctor means to falsify. And you had a bunch of them on a panel, basically swearing in before court, and he asked the woman, he was like, "Can can men get pregnant, right? And she, was speaking all the way around it, basically saying, well, I have clients that, don't necessarily fit in. So just a bunch of confusion, man. So he said, no, can biological men get pregnant? And the demon couldn't say no. The demons on her refused to allow her to say no, man. Biological men cannot get pregnant. But this is what happens, man, in this society when he is ruling. Righteousness is seen as wickedness. Wickedness is seen as righteousness. Quick precept is coming from the book of Isaiah 5:20. And it reads, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Right? So that's what he is doing. He's calling evil good, right? Upholding wickedness and throwing down righteousness. That's why we're going to be persecuted, man. Because ultimately we're preaching a righteous doctrine through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. And we're pointing out who the culprits are. He is guilty. Everything going on in this world, it's wrong. All the evil that's happening is because the top elite banking families who are Edomites, man. They're in control of this whole society, man. They're allowing this lawlessness and wickedness to run rampant, right? They're the ones telling these these lawmakers to enact more and more just rebelliousness, right? They call evil good and good evil. Only a devil would do that. See, because under our kingdom, under Yahweh Shai, King David the 12, and the rest of the elect, these types of occurrences and conversations ain't gonna even occur. The law is gonna go forth out of Zion, and judgment, any breaking of that law, judgment is going to go forth. So let's get back to this. I'm gonna let him say it again. Right, he said, men are oppressing us, but let's allow biological men to get into our sports. Well, just that in itself. If you're allowing a biological man to get into your sports, then guess what? That's a form of oppression. Because every record that a woman has achieved in their sports is going to be broken by that biological man because what? He's a man. The fact we even have to say this shit is elementary, man. It's elementary. He is taking what has always been black or white, which has always been a clear answer, and he's made gray. He's blurred the lines, man. Showing you he's not fit to rule. What's righteous is righteous. What's wicked is wicked. It's that simple. But under this devil, this is what you have. So you have a whole group of individuals in America and the world that believes this doctrine. That shows you how sick these individuals are. They're sick. Protect women, yet a grown-ass man could put on a dress and call himself a girl, a little girl. And you got to respect that. You can't say nothing against that, or else you the problem. But if that grown-ass man was to touch a little girl, then society would, even in this society, they don't even care. They don't even care. Let's keep going. Right. Women are over-sexualized in this society, but it's okay to empower women and give them power. What do you say? But it's okay if women are over-sexualized in the culture, but it's empowering if girls are the ones sexualizing themselves, right? Just the philosophies of the serpent, man. That's the point. These are all philosophies of the serpent, man. All part of the image of the beast. So let's go here. I read Job 10. I read Isaiah 5. I want to grab this in the book of Jeremiah, the 51st chapter. Right, this Jeremiah 51:7, and it reads, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. Right? Drunken through what? Philosophies. Wine. It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right? And let's go into this word Babylon. I'm just showing you that it goes into the word confusion. Babal H89, or it's like H894, says confusion. Right? Confusion. Let's see here. I'm just going into the scene if it's any more. Right. It says below. It says to mix, to confuse, to confound, to mix oneself. Let's see if it's any more here. That was the point. To mix, to confound. Confusion. Right? Reading again. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right? Because now you're seeing the philosophies of America be pushed worldwide. Especially now that the small hat, has merged itself with the hammer of the earth. Right? So now you're seeing women who once wore the hijab, right? And who were wearing modest apparel, who had a sense of understanding what a woman is. Now they're talking about women empowerment. Now they're talking about their rights and the privileges they don't have. Meanwhile, they were in a better case listening to their man. Right? So now you have those women twerking and being whores. They passed that cup unto all nations. So now you have rebellion worldwide. And that's why the scripture tells us in Revelation 18 chapter, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh Shema Shai hath remembered her iniquities. Because he has just caused all disorder across the world, man. Every nation is even more out of order because he is ruling. That's why when we get in order, it's like when we get in rulership, order will be established across the earth, man. Because when you have a wicked ruler, as the scripture says in Sirach 10, let's grab it. Sirach 10 at the top. A wise judge will instruct his people, right? A wise judge is going to make sure that the estate, matter of fact, that's a scripture too, I believe, in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. I'll come back to this. Welfare of the wise. Yep. There's Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 24. It says, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare, right? The well-being, the estate of the world. And a wise king is the upholding of the people. Receive therefore instruction through my words, and it shall do you good. So the instructions are what? Guidelines. Right? They're guidelines for life. Back to Sirach 10, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. Right? So if you have a wicked judge, guess what? All the officers underneath him are going to be corrupt and wicked. Right? They're going to mirror the same image of their leader. It says, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And understanding Esau is what? The son of perdition, the wicked. Guess what? Everyone he puts in order or under him is going to what? Follow that same spirit. And that's why you see when Trump is just a face, right? Trump, Pete Hegseth, all these different individuals, these Edomites, they're just the faces of these organizations and movements, so to speak. Hey, but the true source of that wickedness come from the top banking families: Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, Oppenheimers. Who else? Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, Oppenheimers, Bilderbergs, right? All these different top banking families. It says, an unwise king destroyed his people. And we understand Esau is a eugenicist, man. Right? He wants to lower the population. Right? He always states, incorrect statistics, saying, oh, well, we don't have enough resources on earth for everyone. Meanwhile, this nigga is hoarding up everything. Right? So ultimately, by him establishing these laws, because he knows what's right. The Elder Shakard always says, in order for you to establish what's wrong, you have to know what's right. Paraphrasing. He knows what the righteous thing to do is. But his spirit being completely opposite of Jacob's, he can only do wrong. Right? He knows that two men coming together is unproductive, that it brings forth disease. But he promotes that because what? It destroys life. And he's anti-life. Right? He knows that breaking up the family structure between a man and a woman causes children to become degenerate. Right? Giving a woman the custody of children is going to lead them in a way where they aren't well ordered. He knows this. But that cycle allows him to continue to have Jake being a degenerate spirit. He knows giving a nigga from the hood a certain amount of money in a 360 deal is going to keep him in a hole. But it's going to give him the fame that he wants. But he'll never be able to build himself out of, the debt. He knows all these things. But he continuously feeds it because he's anti-life. Verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. And ultimately, he's going to throw down this society, the kings of this earth, in order to what? In order for Yahushua to reign in true righteousness, man. And that's when life is going to flourish. That's when the nations are going to see, what living really is, man. Because under this society, all it is death. And this is just the controlling the minds of the people, right? This is not including the wickedness that he does to the food and the natural resources of the earth, right? That's not including, what he's doing unto the music. We can go on and on and on. Every facet of life is controlled by Edom, right? And it's all been turned into evil. It's all brought about through confusion and to control. So, these are just reasons why we got to get up out of here. Because it's not going to get any better with E ruling, man. It's only going to get worse from here on out. Confusion is going to grow, right? And truth is going to be seen as a, I believe the saying goes, how does the saying go? I believe it's something along the lines of, truth is going to be seen as a revolutionary act, right? Because the men that's speaking up against this madness, not this dude, he understands it's wicked. But him saying turn to JC is off. But he's also Edom. So that's expected, but nevertheless, he still sees that the wickedness in this place is overflowing. But this is just why we have to get up out of here, man. This is why we have to get up out of here. So I'm going to read 8 and 9 and close out. It says, Babylon, Jeremiah 51:8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. When we read that in the NLT, it says, we would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now, right? This wound is grievous. Let her go, as the scripture says, neither mollifying ointment. It says, let her go, abandon her, return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens. It is so great it cannot be measured. So this place is going to be left forth as a memorial due to the wickedness of Babylon, the philosophies of this place. The image of the beast being on the forefront and being seen as good news or gospel unto the masses, right? Unto the wicked, really. If the Lord has with great violence shall Babylon be thrown down, man, because of this. Also, because they've kept the blood, they've shed the blood of the saints in this place, man. Right? So the Lord is going to do what? Redeem his remnant from receiving the thermonuclear destruction. Everyone else is going to have to taste of it, man. But that's the point. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the body. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Haracha HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of JMS Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to Yakin bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.